saw Kyron Williams just running too fast. Like he didn't even look at the blitz. So, what are your thoughts about Sean McVay? And like, is he has this knack for like whining after the game every time he loses?
He does. It's weird. And I felt like McVay was different this year. I've talked about it quite a bit on the show. Like he spends the first 5 minutes of his post-game press conference after the NFC title game talking about how good the Seahawks are and how much respect he has for him. And then he says something like that. It's like the ultimate backhanded compliment, right? Where that wasn't the case at all. It was a veteran player who's seen it all, making a reaction in the moment. And it just, it goes all the way back to the beginnings of OTAs, right? In getting all these guys so comfortable in the scheme and trusting each other and what everybody's responsibilities are, that in a moment like that, you realize that like I can come off my guy because this is where I think it's going. And we don't hear about that a lot on this defense. We don't hear a lot about ad-libbing. We hear the opposite of that it's very intricate in how the back end and the front half gets married up and how these guys work together and communicate so they're all on the same page. We heard a lot more of this in regards to the Legion of Boom. Those guys knew each other so well, and they would sometimes come off of their primary because they could just sense something was going on. That's what happened here. Was a football play. I thought it was weird, but I also thought, and I was really surprised that we got the news yesterday that Snead and McVay had extended, because I kind of thought McVay seemed like he was pushing himself and this team harder this year than he normally does. Yeah. Like his reactions to things on the sidelines were more intense and kind of frantic. And it almost felt like maybe he realizes they're getting near the end of the road with Matt Stafford, and you don't know how long that roster was going to be able to make this run. Like they're young, they've got cap space, and they're set up pretty well for the future, but they got some guys they got to pay, and maybe he could just see that. I just felt like he was wired way tighter since week 11 than I've ever seen him before. Maybe we got in his head a little bit. Maybe it was a realization that, like, crap, it's not just the 49ers I got to worry about now. Now this guy up in Seattle's pain in my ass too.
Yeah. And man, that game was crazy from start to finish. Looks like, but there's been a huge competition between Sean McVay and Mike McDonald, and right now, like, Mike McDonald's gotten like the best of him this series. And like, for me, one of the biggest testaments was Mike McDonald's just going for it, trusting Sam Darnold. Hey, this is going to be a shootout. Like, we're going to go for it. We're not going to play this conservative type ball. And just trusting Sam Darnold. What did you think about a defensive-minded head coach making that call?
It's one of the most impressive things about watching McDonald do what he does, is he really does have his finger on everything. And he's so, they asked John Schneider about this last night on the Insiders on NFL Network in Santa Clara, what it was that attracted him to McDonald in the first place. And he said it's how intentional he is with every thought. And he is. He doesn't do anything haphazardly. There's always a belief system kind of tied into every one of his decisions. And, how much more he's gotten involved on the offensive side of the ball. We saw it in some of the mic'd up stuff from last Sunday, right? Where he's talking to Kubiak, where he's like, get it, let's go for it. Let's push it. Let's push it on this one. Or what was another one? There's another moment where he's like, hey, maybe think about a different way to run or something like that, right? You caught that moment. And he's getting involved, but he does it in a way he trusts his coaches, he trusts his players. But football's football. And I'm actually reading that Michael Silver book right now, The Why is Everything, and it retraces the Shanahan, Kubiak tree all the way back, and McVay, and where those guys came from. And they were sort of at the forefront, and by they I mean all the guys kind of in that tree, at offensive guys coaching defense and vice versa, and giving yourself a better understanding of the game.